is up, everybody, and welcome back to Gaming Hot Takes, where I rank your hottest takes about various video games. In today's video, we'll be discussing my personal favorite Pokemon Switch game, Pokemon Legends Arceus. So with that said, let's see what you guys sent. Your dodge is just a slightly faster Fat Man roll from Dark Souls. Now, I don't play Dark Souls, never have. I might in the future, I don't know, but I don't know what you're talking about there, but as far as the dodge, I do love it. I love the dodge. I feel like it definitely enhances the gameplay in terms of, like, you know, dodging Pokemon and making sure you don't get spotted and doing some cool little parkour here and there. So yeah, I don't quite get the Dark Souls Fat Man reference, but I'm not sure if you're trying to like say it's bad or good, but if you're saying it's good, I agree. If you're saying it's bad, then I disagree. The lack of voice acting does not bother me. Yeah, honestly, at this point, I'm not sure if they'll ever have voice acting for the mainline Pokemon games. I thought the Switch era would be the time to finally do it because we got voice acting in Breath of the Wild, and that was like a first-time thing then. And I thought that the next game on, or the first Pokemon mainline game on Switch would maybe have voice acting, and then they didn't do it. So yeah, I don't want to say it'll never happen, because I feel like they're going to at least attempt it once to see how it goes, kind of like Mario Sunshine. But yeah, I'm also not bothered that there's no voice acting here. Would it be good? Maybe, I don't know. I'd love to see it and see how it would, or see how it would sound. But yeah, I'm also like you. I'm not bothered that there's no voice acting, but hopefully they at least do one attempt of it in a future mainline Pokemon game. I don't mind the graphics or the art style. Sure, it's not the best, but I think people exaggerate when they call this one of the ugliest Pokemon games. So yeah, like, Pokemon has always, like, not really cared that much about graphics because, like, you know, you would think that going to Switch, it would actually, like, take the time to make, like, really good graphics, and Let's Go did look really nice, but then the other games didn't really follow suit. I will say I definitely do not agree with people saying that this is the ugliest Pokemon game, because personally, I feel that Scarlet and Violet look worse than, Arceus. Like, Arceus definitely could have better graphics, but if I were to compare the two, I'd rather look at Arceus than Scarlet and Violet, because I feel like Scarlet and Violet, like, that game you can tell was definitely rushed, because there are so many, like, you know, like, image clipping moments, and really, really bad textures, and, just things that could have, you know, had more time in the oven to cook. So yeah, like, at this point, similar to the voice acting, I just don't really expect to, you know, see a mainline Pokemon game with, really good graphics. But we have Switch 2 coming up, so hopefully now this will be the time for them to finally, you know, start making really, really good-looking Pokemon games to really, you know, take advantage of the Switch 2's hardware. But yeah, I do not agree when people say that Arceus is the ugliest Pokemon game, because in my opinion, Scarlet and Violet, and in some cases, maybe even Sword and Shield, like the trees in the wild area, look a lot worse, in my opinion, than Legends Arceus does overall. It was a step in the right direction, but it did not offer the optimal experience. Definitely right on that first part. I feel like the reason why I love Arceus so much and why it's my favorite, or my personal favorite Pokemon mainline game on the Switch, is because even though Scarlet and Violet is open world, which I've wanted for so long, I feel like Scarlet and Violet didn't really, you know, take full advantage of the whole open world aesthetic, and that game also runs terribly and looks not that great. Meanwhile, Arceus, I don't think it's the best, like, you know, jump in terms of, like, really advancing the Pokemon formula. It could be argued that it maybe is for some people, but I would definitely not agree that it is. But the reason why I love Arceus so much is because when it comes to the Pokemon catching, which is, like, you know, the main thing you do in Pokemon besides, you know, trading and battling, I feel like Arceus for sure has the best sense of excitement when it comes to just wanting to catch Pokemon, because in Arceus, it lets you just throw the ball and not have to do an actual battle, and then they removed that in Scarlet and Violet, and it was just, like, the worst decision. So, yeah, it was definitely a step in the right direction when it comes to certain, aspects of the Pokemon franchise, like catching, but I would not argue with you if you were to say that it doesn't offer, like, the best overall experience, when it comes to the mainline Pokemon formula, because there are other games in the mainline series that have done more to really move that formula forward. But yeah, I feel like Arceus was definitely the first game where I truly saw that Pokemon was trying to evolve, no pun intended, and really try to advance the series forward, going into like the, console era. So, yeah, maybe not the optimal experience overall, but it did do a lot of things right that put Pokemon, as you said, it was a good step in the right direction. I really want a Pokemon game with the same battle mechanics as Arceus, but with actual multiplayer PvP. Agile Strong style, the way speed works, flinches being replaced by your action speed being lowered, frostbite/drowsiness replacing freeze/sleep, and being able to walk around the battlefield, etc. So a lot to unpack here. Also, the first hot take from Blue Sky, so shout out to that person. But yeah, I wouldn't disagree here. I would like to see them take some of Arceus's stuff and put it into like a multiplayer sort of setting. Because the game doesn't actually have multiplayer, I think, right? So, that was probably the biggest missed opportunity with Arceus was, not implementing, like, outside of trades, I guess, but, or wait, can you trade? Oh, no, you can, I think, right? I don't remember, but, what I'm trying to say is I feel like more could have been done, for sure, with, Arceus's, aspects and put into, like, a PvP or multiplayer sort of setting. But yeah, maybe ZA will do that. That would be great. Maybe they'll take what worked well in Arceus and enhance it, and maybe add some more multiplayer aspects to really enhance it. That'd be great, but we'll see. But I definitely see where you're coming from here. Half the mounts in the game are useless. Only ones that matter are Basket Legion and Braviary. The rest do nothing. I'm not sure if I fully agree with that, because I feel like Weirdeer is good for just getting around on the ground pretty quickly. And also, might be a hot take of my own here, but I'd rather prefer using Weirdeer over Basket Legion. I do like Basket Legion. I do like, the water part of, that one area, getting to surf with Basket Legion. But Braviary for sure is definitely the best, because you're just, you're in the air, you're flying over the entire area, you can reach, like, high up areas. But yeah, I feel like, Sneasler and Ursaluna are definitely not the best. I feel like, for me, Ursaluna is by far the worst, because, one, Ursaluna is pretty slow, and two, what you do with Ursaluna isn't really that helpful. Like, you can find hidden items, and he is used for, like, some quests, I think. But as far as, like, usefulness throughout the entire game, Ursaluna definitely is not, anywhere close to being as, useful overall as the other mounts. So yeah, I think I partially agree with this. I feel like Weirdeer deserves some respect in terms of, its speed and how good it is getting to travel on the ground at a quick pace. But if you were to say Braviary is, like, the best mount in the game, I would not argue with you there. So yeah, I'm gonna say I partially agree with this, and I mostly, disagree here. I feel like you might be going a bit too rough on some of the other mounts in the game, but I do agree that Braviary and Basket Legion are probably two of the better mounts in the game. I prefer Arceus' exploration and Pokemon capture mechanics over any of the mainline Pokemon games. Brother, you are not alone, especially that second part. I feel like Arceus, by far, as we mentioned earlier, has my favorite way of catching Pokemon of any of the mainline games. Like, that game made catching the most fun it's ever been, and I'm so mad that they removed that from Scarlet and Violet. As far as exploration, I do feel like it is for sure one of the best, but it'd be hard for me to, like, say for sure that Arceus is the best exploration of any mainline game, because while I do diss Scarlet and Violet in some aspects, like the graphics and, the catching thing not being like it was in Arceus, I feel like exploring in Scarlet and Violet was, definitely very, very fun. I just wish I had more time to cook in terms of, like, the graphics and certain areas being more fleshed out. I feel like if they really did take their time with Scarlet and Violet and really make each area stand out in terms of visuals and identity and uniqueness, I feel like I would definitely not agree here that Arceus has the best, because I feel like that would for sure be Scarlet and Violet. But I don't know. I can definitely see the argument here that Arceus may have the best exploration in terms of, like, each area and how fun it is to move around. I'd have to think about that one personally, but I would not argue here if you personally think that Arceus is the best way to explore in, or has the best exploration of any mainline Pokemon game. The last area is by far the most uninteresting and super underwhelming compared to the rest of the game. So I'm pretty sure you're referring to the Alabaster Icelands, right? Which is where you find the final, what do you call it? The Pokemon you fight that are like the giant titans. The noble Pokemon, sorry. I don't know if I agree. It's for sure not my favorite. I feel like my favorite is either the mountain area where you find Mount Coronet, or it might be, the water area where you use Basket Leafy for the first time. But I can see why you would think that. It definitely is not the best in terms of areas being unique, and I don't think it has my favorite noble Pokemon. I think Avalugg is fine, but yeah, I guess I can see the argument. I think, here's the thing, I feel like it might be just a case of just the whole ice theme not working. Because again, Pokemon's not the first one to have, like, this be, or to be guilty of this, but I feel like a lot of Nintendo franchises have, you know, ice areas in their games that are not, like, that fun to explore. Like, Mario games have them, Zelda games have them. I'm not sure that's what you're trying to refer to here as far as, like, why it's underwhelming or uninteresting. But yeah, I would agree that it's definitely not the best area to explore in the game. Because I feel like it's a cool ice area, and I do like that it has the ruins where you find Regigigas and where you get Braviary. But yeah, I do think more maybe could have been done in terms of giving it, like, unique identity and having it, you know, be super duper unique from every other, like, ice-themed land in other mainline Pokemon games, like Snow Point City from Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. So yeah, I'd have to think about that one in terms of if I think it's the most uninteresting or if it's super underwhelming, but if you were to say it's not the best area in the game, I would definitely agree there. Sword and Shield was a better game inside and out than Pokemon Legends Arceus was. Brother, I was so excited to potentially end this on a really good hot take, but man, you are spewing some hot garbage here because I for sure disagree. If you know me, you guys know I am not a big fan of Sword and Shield for a lot of reasons. One, the story was mid, the characters were mid, the region wasn't that interesting, so yeah, I think Sword and Shield for me is my least favorite of the mainline Pokemon Switch games. So yeah, definitely a very, very hot take. Some might agree here, I don't know. I know Gen 8 has its fans. I know Sword and Shield has a lot of dedicated fans that actually love the games for what they are, but I feel like Sword and Shield was just missing too much from me when it comes to, like, certain aspects, like story, characters, post-game, towns and locations. So I disagree here. Like, I super disagree, but if you're a fan of Sword and Shield, I get it. Like, I know it has its fans, but for me, I can never agree with this ever in my life. So Arceus for me is like 10 times better than Sword and Shield, in my opinion. But if you like Sword and Shield, that's fine. Like what you like. Alright folks, that is it for gaming hot takes for Legends Arceus. Thank you to all the ones who sent in your hot takes, and reminder, if you want to send your hot takes, then follow me on X, Blue Sky, and on Discord, because I am in various servers on Discord, like various Mario servers, Pokemon servers, Zelda servers, so you might see me ask some questions. I might ask a question as far as, like, what your hottest take is, so if you see it, you can answer it there. But hope y'all enjoyed, and I guess I will see you guys at the next gaming hot takes, and until then, bye!